Good morning, guys. My name is Phil. Welcome back to Miranda Detailing. So in today's episode, we have this huge 2018 Chevy truck in for our new car prep and, well, more. Guys, if you're enjoying videos like this, and I hope you are, consider subscribing and clicking that bell so you don't miss stuff. So the big truck here came in for our new car prep, but a little bit more. We're actually going to do our full paint correction. Now, when I say full paint correction, I do not mean 100%. We'll discuss that later in the video. But it is jet black paint. It has a lot of defects and swirls and some light scratches on it. So we're going to fix that as much as we safely can. So we're going to inspect the paint after we do the whole pre-wash and washing and deconning, and pull into the garage here and then take a look at the paint and see what it needs. We'll also take some measurements, see how deep these scratches are, how much of the clear coat we have to play with, and then go from there. So here's the truck. Came in last night, and it actually doesn't look too bad in the daytime, but at night when we were inspecting it with lights, man, it's really bad. When you go up to it, you can see those water spots are just on the surface, I hope. As we were looking over it last night, you can kind of smudge them away, so that's a good sign. That means it's just on the surface. So it was just kind of wiped down, and those water spots or the streaking was kind of left in the paint. But as we look around the paint, you'll see some haziness and some swirling. It's kind of hard to see now because the sun is kind of behind the trees, hidden. But after we wash it and decon it, we'll pull it in, and then we'll show you how bad this thing really is. It's got a lot of hazy spots on it, and some areas like around here that have been attacked with a rotary polisher improperly. So not blaming the rotary polisher, blaming the person who was running it and not using it correctly. Let's get to washing this beast, and we'll show you the process. It is a little chilly out, so we are going to, of course, have our hot water pressure washer system ready to go, and turning on hot water here. It can go into the AR. This is the AR Blue 630, the Blue Clean 630. It's the hot water version. So it can take up to 180 degrees, which my water doesn't even reach up to that point at all. You're not getting hot steam. It's just warming everything up. By the time the water comes out of the gun and hits the paint, it's already pretty cold. But the point is, it's warming everything up, and your hands don't get cold because the pressure washer gun and the hose and all these, brass and metal parts here get really nice and warm. Plus, of course, we fill up our bucket with hot water. Now, as far as rinsing, we can just rinse it quickly with cool water through the deionized system. So we have that here as well. Don't really know if we're going to need that necessarily for this job because we're going to be polishing it and all of that anyway. So it's kind of a waste. So really, we reserve that for maintenance details. So I did notice some water spotting on the chromes, on the paint. It's one thing. On the chrome, however, we can use an acid-based cleaner, wheel cleaner, so wheel brightener from Meguiar's. So, you know, I've used this in the past as a water spot remover, but not necessarily for the paint. It's paint safe, it's fine, but we're gonna polish it anyway, and you know, the water spots I don't think were on the paint as much as some of the chrome, especially like the wheels and the lower step board. So I'm gonna mist this on, let it dwell, and then use this little wheel cleaner mitt here to agitate. Now when you hear wheel acid, I know it brings to mind, you know, something that might damage the paint or damage the wheels. Just remember, this type of wheel acid, this acid is formulated for clear coat, for chrome. Just don't put it on bare aluminum, anodized wheels, or powder coated wheels, something sensitive. But clear coat and chrome are very, very tough as far as chemicals go. Even if they get stained, you can polish them out. It's okay. On other surfaces, you might run into some issues. It's okay on plastic. It's not going to ruin plastic. But as you can see, everything is wet. And that wheel brightener is diluted 1 to 3. So it's diluted even more so when you put it on the paint. So now as we agitate, it's kind of hard to tell if the water spots are actually being removed just because everything is wet, so you really can't tell. But we'll see once we dry it. And if it's not fully removed, then we'll use some stronger dedicated water spot removers. But other than that, usually this does a good job. And again, if it's just light water spot, again, if it's just light water spots on the paint, you can use that. But if you have protection on there or coatings, it could interfere. I'd rather use a dedicated water spot remover from that coating company. It's a lot safer that way, and it ensures that you don't strip off the coating or waxes or sealants. So we just completed the interior. Not a ton of like deep cleaning to do, but we did need to vacuum, wipe down the leather, and now we're applying leather and vinyl protection and plastic protection. So two of the products we're using, actually three today, the Naziol Cabin Shine, and I know it says shine, but when you apply this stuff and let it sit and wipe it down, it's not greasy or glossy. It's just a nice natural shine. The plastic in here is a tad bit naturally shiny anyway. We're able to cut down on some of the shine, whatever product was put on there, but the leather boost is their leather protection. So two separate products. You're not supposed to put this on plastics necessarily. I don't know why, because, you know, the leathers in here are a type of coated plastic leather anyway, so I don't know why they say that. We're following the directions on there anyway, and just using the two separate products. So the Cabin Shine is going on all of this, even though this is just like this. It's, you know, this is a little bit tougher, a little bit harder. So, you know, two different materials, yeah, I don't know about that. The results are pretty good. You can see it's not super glossy or shiny. It's just a nice natural finish. Kind of has that natural, you know, satin to it anyway. But no extra gloss really to it. It just looks really nice and clean. So really nice stuff. The leather the leather boost is amazing. It goes on super easy, flashes away, and it's matte. There's no shine to it at all. So it did an excellent job. So we let that sit. That stuff's supposed to sit there for about 12 hours or so it'll sit overnight, because we're going to continue on the exterior in just a moment. But yeah, the Naziol interior products, pretty nice. I'm not going to use the fabric protection today because it doesn't call for it, but their TEM APC Pro, this is a multi-purpose cleaner. This stuff is incredible. It is dilutable up to 1 to 45, which is crazy. And we just mix it up in a separate bottle here, and it does seem like a pretty strong cleaner. So we actually wiped all of the leather and the plastics down with this, and it removed any of the other shiny, greasy dressing that was there and left a really nice clean surface. So it did a really, really good job of, you know, cleaning, and then we're going to protect it. And here's the other one. This is their Cabin Care, their textile, fabric, and upholstery protection. They are going to be repackaging these, maybe some new formulations soon. So look forward to that. And if I can get some of their info, links to their stuff down below, I will. But yeah, so far, the plastic and leather care stuff works really well. So the truck is pulled in. Let's take a look at the paint. Oh, yeah. Oh, why? Oh, well, that's just wiping around that. Yikes. Horrible. Yeah, see, then we have some really crazy, like wet sanding, micro marring weirdness here. Yikes. Up, some more here. Really, really cloudy. You know, the cloudy part here is not as bad as some other areas, because this will actually come out fairly easily. I'm saying that from past experience, but who knows, when we start actually getting into it, may prove us wrong.
It's like a rotary.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. In fact, you can see on this side here, let's turn on this guy, and you can see clearly, whoa, some heavy, heavy buffer trails here. So yeah, someone attacked it improperly with a rotary polisher. So let's try to fix this. We're gonna choose some products, see what we can do, and this will be trying to get 90% plus. Always communicate with the customer, so we communicated with the customer and said, look, this is pretty bad. We're gonna try to get this 90% plus, because 90%, because there's gonna be some deeper scratches in here that I'm not gonna be able to take out. It's got a few years on this truck already, and you can tell since the abuse, who knows how thin this paint may be. Let's take a couple of readings. So we know this area here was really heavily hit. Oh, 4.76, 4.8. Okay, I mean that's okay. That's okay. 4.5, 4.6. Whoops. There we go. 4.8. Okay, not bad, not bad. 8.5. Oh, here we go. This has been repainted. That's probably why we have so much of the rotary swirls. Oh, 5.5, 4.5. Whoa, and then we have below 4. Below 4 over here. 362. Okay, so as we're going into here, this is when we're going to have to communicate with the customer and let them know that area there is below 4. We really cannot cut that heavily into it. Down here is usually the worst when we take readings here. 4, 6. Let's take readings here. 4, 6. Okay, that's not bad. 8, 4, that was the repainted area. 5, 4, okay. And we have a lot of road rash down here. So, once again, as we go through the vehicle here, we're taking into account the age of the vehicle, the damage. Look at all the stone chips back here. Dents and stone chips. Really, really bad. Look at that. So why is the customer wanting a full paint correction? Well, that's his choice. He wants his truck to look as good as possible, and that's what we're going to do. But trying to shoot for 100%, even on what we call a full correction or our paint correction, we're going to do it safely. We do not want to compromise things, because later on down the road, a few years down the road, it's going to need to be polished again. So we want it looking as good as it can look without sacrificing clear coat. But once we're done, this is probably going to be close to a tad over 4 mils when we're done. So that's something we have to take into account. How many times can a vehicle be polished? Well, take measurements. Keep an eye on the paint. So areas like here, it's really bad. These are deep, and we have to be careful. It's on the corner here, on the edges. So, yep, this is very good to do. Get one of these readers. I'll have links to either this one if it's still available, or there's a newer one, a different type on Car Supplies Warehouse that I'm going to get my hands on also. Whoa, 4 point, not, yeah, okay. See, this is low right here. And you see all those squiggly swirls here? That I'm not going to be able to get out 100%. We're going to have to go up to maybe 75% in that area. Okay, so readings. Remember, this area is very low, so when we get to here, we have to tread carefully. Take measurements as you go along. This was repainted. This seems to be the only panel that was repainted. It means probably the whole door. And this area is just, man, I don't know what went wrong here. All right, let's get started. Let's pick a combo here. We're going to start medium aggressive first. Let's start with an orange pad, our usual. Then we'll kick it up to microfiber if needed. But let's try out a medium compound and see what we can do. It really helped a lot, but yeah, there's still some deeper stuff in there. I'm going to go further. I am this time. This is not paint enhancement. This is going to be our correction, but we do have a line that we draw even on that. That's just a smudge. Let's go a little further. Let's bump it up and see if we can get more of this out safely, and then we'll check measurements. And again, just look, see how many chips? It's everywhere, everywhere. So yeah, you can only do so much. Okay, so now we have achieved pretty good correction. Now we're dealing with micro haze, but look past that and we're going to see that the paint does look incredibly good. There we go, just some residue. It looks really, really good. Once we polish it, it'll be even better. But see that scratch right there, super deep. Right there, that is also pretty deep. It's actually deeper over there. So there's chips in there. There's some other super deep, scratches and lines going across. You can only go so far. Scratch there, but it's right close to that edge right there. And this scratch here, too deep, right on the edge. Can't try to dig those out. It's too risky, at least for us. Some guys may want to do it, but you know, that's something that you decide between you and your customer, and you let them know. But yikes, yeah, you got to be careful. So this is leaving on average about 4.5 mils, which is decent. That's good. It's much better than this. Oh yeah. Once we finish polish, it'll be incredible. So we'll show you that along the way as well. All right, so I believe we are getting to the point where I'm not going any further. There's going to be some minor things in there, but I think we have achieved, well, up here, well, actually, up here I might go a teeny bit further. Teeny bit. But some other areas, yeah, areas around here, that's as far as I'm going. Those deeper scratches right there are going to have to stay. But again, they really only come up when you do this, when you examine them with crazy lights. So Wifey was just working on this panel here and cutting pretty hard, using a drop of the Kosh Chemie Heavy, which is right here. So a drop of this and a drop of the fine on a microfiber pad, and these are the results we're getting. And it's cutting really deep. And we took measurements, and it's average about 4.5 mils. Could we go further? Yeah, probably. But again, we're not going to risk it. We want to leave a healthy amount of clear coat on here. Even doing our correction, I'm thinking this is going to be close to about 90, up to 90. Maybe not 90 plus because there's so many imperfections in the paint already. But that's pretty heavy. Wow, yeah, and it's just the micro haze, so you can look past that and see some of the deeper scratches. Excellent. When we finish polish this, it's going to look awesome. All that heavy, nasty stuff is out. Awesome. All right, let's keep on going. Now you saw me go pretty heavy on here. 2.5, cutting sessions here. The half is, one where I just clean out the pad and use a little bit of the residue that's still in the pad to cut. You can do that. I actually found that it works really well. I added a little bit more of the, actually I switched over to, well, I didn't really switch over, but Jess is using the heavy cut and from Kosh Chemie, and I just pulled out my Old Faithful correction compound from Meguiar's, which I just still love this stuff. It's incredible. It's so underrated. I was using it to cut from here on out with the pad, and you did see some scratches here before, and it's so light right there. Really light. I kept cutting pretty heavy here because I deemed it necessary and it was okay. There was still plenty of clear coat. Now, if we just take a few more readings and just, be careful with it. 4.76, okay, 4.7-ish, 4.6, that's good. That's good. I can actually go a little bit more, and I'm going to go a little bit more to remove a little bit of that scratching where I can, but this is up to me. Actually, that's pretty good. This is up to me. This is not for anyone else viewing this to gauge. This is for me to gauge. And when you see other spots in the paint that you're like, well, you got that scratch out. Why couldn't you get that scratch out? Because it was too thin. That's why. So when doing paint corrections like this, we go at it surgically And what I mean by that is little by little by little. You don't go in there and cut with a chainsaw or a rotary. You know, we're not going to be cutting heavy with a rotary here because there's areas that are already too thin. So if you attack it way too heavy, just, you know, a broad attack on everything, that's not good. That is not a good approach. Our approach is panel by panel, and you do what is necessary for each panel, for each defect. Have your paint depth gauge at your side, keep taking readings, and go from there. This is looking incredible though. Look how nice it looks. That's a defect there, a deep bug etching or bird dropping, which really you can only see in the camera. I can't see it with the naked eye. So you're seeing stuff here that I can't see with the naked eye. It's coming up on the camera because of the sensitivity of the camera itself. It's kind of, you know, deceptive. But, you know, some may say, well, you need to get that out even if you see it on camera. No, not necessarily. That's actually not a good rule to follow. In fact, that shouldn't even be a rule. So what you see on here, if you see there's little imperfections here and there, realize that in real life, to the naked eye, you can't see it. I can't see it. Customer's not going to see it. No one's going to see it unless you pull a camera out. Yeah, you're going to pull a camera out and then pull out these lights and scan around the vehicle and point out all the imperfections on a vehicle like this? No, that'd be foolish. So yeah, this is actually looking really, really good. And kind of back to my old faithful using D300 with the microfiber cutting pad. The Koch Chemie Fine and the Heavy Cut were working. Don't get me wrong. It was working. I have 2 bottles of Fine, but only 1 bottle of Cut. So she's using Cut on this side. So instead of me going back and forth, I just pulled out my bottle of D300. And I'm working with D300 down this side. Getting the same results. She's doing the cutting on this side, getting amazing results. It is looking incredible. Yeah, it's just taking some extra cutting, and she's taking readings. Whoa, beautiful. She's taking readings as she goes along. Yikes. And
Too thin here.
yeah, too thin here. Yep. So imperfections under here, got to be really careful. You can see that's weird. Something's weird there. I don't know if that's overspray or what that is, or burn through. I don't know. You got to tread carefully around here. You can see all that hazing. So someone ripped through here with heavy tools, polishers and rotary polishers and all that, and you know, they risked a lot doing that because now you thin down the clear coat. So not good. We have to go at it like surgeons, little bit by little bit. You don't just cut heavy, you go step by step. So good lesson to keep in mind. The cutting is done. Man, that took a long time. So pretty much better half of the day was spent just cutting on this paint. And we had to be careful because there's a lot of areas that are extremely thin. So we'll show you some of those areas in just a moment, but take a look at the hood. This was just cut. So we see some teeny little scratches. Those are just, they're too deep. I'm not going any further. Some of the paint here is it's just too thin. We had to take measurements pretty much every step of the way. This area here on the gas cap, let's show you. It is not perfect, still not perfect. See all those deeper scratches? Even though over here, yeah, we were able to cut pretty heavy, and we did. A lot of the major swirls are gone, just hazing. But here, we have some deeper stuff. You know why? This is why it's so good to have one of these and to be very careful when cutting, when doing paint corrections and not trying to go 100%. Yeah, 366. Yikes. Yikes. Whoa. Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with here. Yeah, so pretty much 4 and under. I'm not cutting anymore. No way. So there's quite a few areas on that side. The whole back area, look how bad it is. This whole area here is full of chips and dents. And we're looking at, yeah, around 4. Well, that's not too bad there, but it jumps around a lot. Yikes. Oh, okay, 339 down there. 340 down there. Yeah, we can't go any further on that. Up here isn't too bad, but still, there's little gaps here and there that it just jumps down to like 4. You got to be really careful. So we're not going to hit this heavily. So yeah, you just have to live with that basically. But we're finishing now with the NSP 45 from Dr. Beasley's Orange Lake Country pad, and it's finishing extremely well. I still have to finish. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to be finishing around the hood and pretty much my whole side. She's pretty much done on this side, so she's hitting all the glass. And once she's done with that, she's most likely going to be starting on plastic and wheels, plastic and wheel coatings. So that's what we're going to hit next. It is looking incredible. What you see is just a little bit of the residue from the NSP polish. That just is the nature of the polish. It leaves a little bit of a residue, but you can see past that. That goes away once you coat it. Just a weird thing you got to work with, but man, the clarity. So you can see how cloudy it was over here, and it clears up. It's just a little bit of the residue from the polish. Actually, I can't focus. Look, there's so many chips. The microfiber is getting caught in them. So, yeah, I'm going to have to fill in some of those chips, but there's literally like hundreds of them. That's turning out to be really, really good. So, over here, cut, hazy, and now clarity. There we go. So, over here, it's all hazy from the cutting. Now, it clears up. And you're just left with a little tiny lighter scratches that can't come out. So that's looking awesome. So I switched over to the Flex just because, man, we really ate through a lot of batteries on the SBTAs. So I switched over to the Flex 15 millimeter. And actually, this is better for finishing. It's a little bit less torque than the Rupes and the SBTA cordless. But it finishes a little bit better. You can see it's got a hefty backing plate. It actually does a really good job of finish polishing much better. So that's what I'm using for the rest of the polishing. So we're working on this huge Chevy truck. It is jet black. We're doing our paint correction surface. All right, guys, this beast is done. We have spent long enough on it. I just went around any final touches, going through the door jambs, making sure everything is dust free. There was some water spots on the back glass here we had to take care of. It was just really easy. Just use a little bit of a simple water spot remover, nothing too strong, and glass cleaner, sealant, good to go. Just finished up all the final touches, going through the door jambs, making sure everything is dust free, smudge free. All the chromes are looking nice and shiny and they're coated. It's done. So we'll go through some final shots, hopefully tomorrow. Customer's gonna pick it up tomorrow. That'll be day 3. It's gonna, again, just sit overnight for the rest of the coatings on the chrome to cure. And then tomorrow will be pickup day. And hopefully it will be sunny out to get some sun shots, because I think this thing in the sun is gonna look incredible. But I'll give you a couple of after shots in the garage here anyway, just in case it's cloudy tomorrow or raining. Who knows? You never know with Virginia weather. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others who may enjoy it or benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss stuff. And if you're interested in any of the tools or the products, check out the links down below. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great week. Take care.